Hi, I'm Alan Ross, Managing Editor of APC Media. We are here at the 2026 IEEE PES T&D Show. Mac, thank you for joining us. Max Miller is joining us. He's the Chief Commercial Officer for Maddox Transformer. Maddox has been doing some amazing stuff in the market. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we get there, you've seen enough from your perspectives. You have to see enough of what's happening, the changes that are taking place in the marketplace. We know right now it's the law of scarcity. Your best friends are trying to sneak up to you and get in line to get transformers before somebody else. But the idea that the industry is probably going through more change in the last 5 years than it did in the last 50 before that. Talk a little bit about your perspective of what you hear out in the industry that's going on, whether it's a utility or whether that's industrial or data center. Share a little bit of knowledge.
You bet, you bet. Well, thanks for having me. I would say the two biggest changes that are emerging right now, of course, there's DOE 2029, the new efficiency regulation, and that's coming into place here in the next few years. And that's going to change everything about how transformers are designed. So it's not just a little tweak to make them a little more efficient. It's utilizing amorphous cores in most designs. And
we make a lot of amorphous cores in the United States, right?
We do now. Yeah, we do now.
well, we don't make a lot yet.
No, right, exactly. It's scaling up here in the U.S., and that's a really good thing. So that's looming, and yeah, that's more than just tweaking a few things about the design. I mean, it's a total overhaul of transformer designs for all manufacturers, and so manufacturers are sinking tens of thousands of engineering hours into that. So that's a big kind of macro change. Everybody's kind of tracking that. Another change that I've noticed over the last really 12 months is just the number of transformer startups.
Really?
Yeah. So just in the last, 12 to 24 months, there's probably no less than 30 new transformer companies that are selling transformers.
In the U.S., or are you talking about globally?
Well, in the U.S., most of them are selling, private labeled equipment from China.
Okay.
There's some new domestic startups as well.
Okay.
At the same time, most major manufacturers are finally expanding their footprints in the U.S. So we've got a ton of capacity coming online. So I think that the commercial landscape for the transformer industry is going to be just totally unrecognizable in the next 2 years. There's, so much availability and capacity. A couple years ago, if you had a transformer in stock or you had a short lead time, you'd sell it. You could sell it for whatever you wanted to, and you'd have a buyer, right? But now availability, even of inventory and capacity, is kind of table stakes.
Is there less capacity, more problems at the higher end of the market, building out the 765 network?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And that seems, I don't know much, we're mainly in distribution.
Right.
I think at transmission, those higher transmission voltages, it's a fairly niche market.
Yeah.
So a lot of manufacturers are building that capacity to be able to fill that need as it arises. But certainly, yeah, large power subs are still, 2 years out at best.
Good. So, and that's a really interesting thing because it's in 1970s, right?
Okay.
There was a lot of capacity, especially in the distribution end of the marketplace, but it's also true. And everybody was building plants, and then the market did this, and everybody started closing plants, right?
Interesting.
Are we coming back into that again? Because that was a big deal for a while as we overbuilt, and investors, were saying, well, we'll never let that happen again. Don't overbuild. It took 50 years to get that out of our mindset. And then people started adding capacity.
Wow.
Think about that we might be repeating what we saw back then if there's too much, because globally there's more supply than there is demand. It's just some of the countries that they bought from, as you mentioned, China. You gotta be careful of how you spec things. Or utilities have a harder time than maybe the industrials and others.
Sure. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, well, that's a great perspective. And, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Yeah. So,
I like that.
Well, I appreciate your perspective, and I suspect the same thing will happen again.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the transformer shortage got a ton of press, particularly 2-3 years ago. You had people like the vice president and Elon Musk going on Joe Rogan to talk about how, transformers are this big issue that we have to solve. And so I think that got a lot of foreign companies and venture capitalists really excited about the space, and so they invested accordingly. And a lot of that is coming to fruition right now.
I've been in a couple of new transformer divisions of something. Been at their grand openings of them, and it certainly is. These are at the higher level. These are people building up for the transmission part of it.
Yeah.
And I got to keep thinking, it took you 3 years to build that.
Yeah.
And are you coming online at the worst possible time when suddenly they're saying, hey, it's not true, because the 765 build out in the United States is going to require tremendous amounts of demand. We're nowhere near having that. It's a lot easier to build a transformer at the distribution level than building a 765 or a 1000 kV unit. Yeah.
Yeah. And, our focus is mainly 138 kV and below. So that's a world that I don't know a ton about. So I'm sure you're right about that.
Well, don't build a plant for 765 because there's others doing it.
Okay. Maybe wait 50 years or 48 years.
There's a unique thing about Maddox that I think is different, just not what you build, but who you are as a company and how you serve.
Sure.
I want to talk a little bit more about the industry.
Yeah.
We talked about this right before we came on, is back in my day as an engineer, we were able to, didn't matter what discipline you're in, you were able to talk to other engineers who wanted to buy something from your company. But it was really from multiple companies. Hey, we need this. Are we asking the right questions? Help us put the spec together, the RFQ. You'll be one of the companies that bid on it, but are we making mistakes? Are we doing that? The engineers could talk to engineers. And as things went, all of a sudden it swung up here and procurement took over. You weren't allowed to talk to anybody. The engineers at the buying company, you couldn't talk to anybody. And we knew sometimes we get an RFQ and go, this is the dumbest thing since sliced bread. That's not what they need, but you couldn't talk to the other side. So you bid on it. You try to put in, hey, we're gonna say that you should do this, not this. Well, those bids got thrown out because it looked like, hey, no, your job from a procurement standpoint, people telling you, your job is to bid on exactly as done. It's switching the other way now. People are asking for help, saying, are we doing the right thing? Is there a better, faster, cheaper way to do something? What is the industry, meaning the manufacturer, what do you know that we don't know that you might have a better way of doing it? Do you see that's happening?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting because, as markets mature, and we're in a very mature market, they tend to become more efficient. They tend to, but not always. So, you're highlighting there the, kind of procurement getting in the middle. So when we started Maddox, we wanted to start a company that added long-term value for our customers and our employees, right? The customer is the boss. He can fire us at any time for any reason. So we really wanted to listen to them. And one thing when it comes to the efficiency of a market, just efficiency of information exchange as that emerges, is more standardization. So we really train our sales team to read the spec, but also understand what they're getting at, because they might just be using the wrong language. They might just be using different nomenclature that we're used to. So we try and help them towards standardization while it's still a custom product, fitting it into more standardized categories. But I would say one thing that we really realized early on, a way that we could add value for our customers, was by creating free educational content. Because we think better educated customers create more value in the market, they make better decisions, and therefore they have a better experience with us. So we really invested heavily in writing technical articles for purchasing and engineers to help them understand transformer specifications and fusing and fluids and all that stuff, and also produced a lot of educational YouTube videos. So if you YouTube, how transformers work or something about fuses, you might see my face. So I've kind of become the transformer guy. So that's how we're kind of attacking that problem.
We need to, in our transformer technology community, we need to link to because that's what we want to do. We're only here to educate the industry, but we will be glad to take that free content that you develop for them and make sure that we point to it, because that is the next generation of engineers coming along is replacing the people that are my age, that your age is coming along. And it's not that they have to learn what we had to learn. They have to learn 10 times more. And it's changing what they have to learn. So any tool that they can get to educate themselves is so valued today. Because there's some guy walked out the door with knowledge that never got captured.
Absolutely.
So capturing that knowledge is excellent. I do want to make a commitment. We'll point to your training department.
For sure. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Somebody from APC Media needs to hear that. Like and subscribe
That's
to
right.
the Maddox training tools. Okay. No, that's excellent. What other added values are you bringing to the marketplace? Because I know there is another one.
Sure.
I want to see if you're going to hit on it, or you guys stop doing it.
No, yeah, I would say, the differentiators for us, it really comes down to our people. It's kind of cliche, but really our people are our greatest asset. So we've always focused on and invested heavily in people and culture. So we want to hire the best people that we can find and invest in them so that they can be the best that they can be. Because if we take care of our people, they take care of our customers, and we'll make a little bit of profit at the end of the day that we can invest in new opportunities as they arise. So really people focused. I would say we've, since the beginning, we've had a commitment to private ownership as opposed to private equity or having a public company. And I think that has become a differentiator for us because at the end of the day, we have to answer to the customer, right? Our customer is not the shareholder. Our customer is not the private equity firm that's just working on the next exit. It's us and our customers. And so I think that translates to how we do business in the marketplace. That's really different from a lot of other companies.
I think the one that I ran into about 5 years ago was one of your customers was talking about one of the values that you all had, and it might have been a specific salesperson that did it, but if they don't have it, they're going to try to help you find it.
Absolutely.
That was to me, because if I don't have it, well, guess what? Next time around, ask me again. But to say to somebody, look, if we don't have it, if we can't get whatever it is you need, we're going to help you find it. I'm going to take the time. That is huge in a value statement. So that's
Absolutely.
one of the Maddox things I learned about 5 years ago.
Great. Well, we'll keep doing it.
I wish I remember the salesperson's name. Give them a raise. Yeah. But you've seen a lot of change in people that are coming in.
Yeah.
How do you hire the best, retain the best? Because everybody's competing for those people, especially install people, field people. Do you have your own install crews, or is that being farmed out to people like Risa and others?
Sure. Yeah. We do a tiny bit of field service. So we have the trucks, we have the setups. Our guys are trained to do that. But really, it's mostly local to our shops, either in Washington, Ohio, Tennessee, or South Carolina. So we don't go out. That's not really our business. We're not field guys. So yeah, we would work with a Risa or somebody like that. We're primarily product sales.
Okay.
In terms of hiring, I think we look all over the place. We don't just look in our industry. Most of our hires are from adjacent industries or just totally from outside the electrical industry. And we do that because we're hiring for culture and character first, right? And what you have to do, of course, is have a really solid training program, that comes behind that to get them up to speed. So we don't, I would say as we hire, we put less weight, except in our technical roles, of course, but when it comes to sales, customer service, things like that, we don't put a super heavy weight on industry experience.
Okay.
We're more interested in who they are as people.
So you use your own training video, which I just made a promotion for. So you use your own training videos to train those people up.
Some of those and some other ones too. Yeah.
One of the things that's happening in the industry is there's a whole new group of companies coming in with innovation. You talked about 2029.
Sure.
Everybody's going to have to it's like an equal playing field. But there are companies that come up. Are there any advances? It could be bushings. It could be, and obviously we know what's happening in the bushings industry between, you can't get oil-filled bushings.
Sure, the big ones. Yeah.
You can't get them.
3-4 years out.
Yeah, people are moving to.
Yeah, I wish I'd bought some.
We like gold. Yeah, but the idea that the advances that are being made are making transformers actually better.
Sure.
They're making them so that they. You can't make a transformer that's going to be replaced in 20, 30, 40 years. You have to make it for 50 beyond.
Yeah,
because we just don't have enough industrial capacity to handle I think one of our guests talked about the installed base that has to be replaced.
Yeah.
Not new, not counting new age, it has to be replaced is $3 trillion.
Wow.
We replace it $653 billion a year.
Wow.
How long is it going to take us to replace $3 trillion is going to be a lot of years. So you need to be looking at 50, 60, 70 years out for some of these these new problems. If you make a transformer that's going to last for 20 years, doesn't solve the long-term problem.
Sure.
So anything that you all do that is, I would say, uniquely based to new startup companies that are saying, buy my thing, buy my thing?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of changes. I mean, there's a whole set of companies that are researching solid state transformers,
Right.
right? So that's kind of an emerging
Right.
technology, yet to be seen. We're looking into it. That's an interesting change in terms of reliability. Yeah, I remember the SD Myers, the original manual was called 50 years plus,
Yeah.
right? And I think in most specifications now they say 30 years plus. So that's gotten downgraded a
Yeah.
little bit. We see transformers that have been taken out of service from the 1920s, I think are the oldest ones I've seen. And I'd love to keep them and put them in a museum, but I think they get scrapped.
Yeah.
So the focus in the US has been primarily efficiency and cost savings, right? That has been the trend.
Right.
Right. And so balancing that with longevity, I think, is really important. And so we've got great systems with our manufacturing partners of QA, QC. When we see problems in the field, we send it in, even if it's past its warranty date. We want to get back to that building transformers that last 50 years.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how we win long term. The trade-off is there's higher cost.
Right.
Right. And,
Right.
We're beholden to the customer. And so we have to listen to them and we have to save costs as we can without cutting corners, of course.
Right. I did an interview yesterday with the folks at Nomex,
Okay,
Nomex,
great.
right?
Yep, they're the guys.
Yeah, if I were building a transformer, I would have certain fluids in it, and I would put Nomex in it.
Exactly.
But you're going to get that added cost, but I'm going to get to run that beast at much higher rating for as longer as, and that's what people are, that's what people need on the utility side. They're running everything at higher heat for a longer period of times, and you got to have a transformer that can handle it.
Of course.
Hopefully the new ones can, and we don't just run out of the whole thing. I want to talk about fluids a little bit. Do you get a lot of demand for esters, or are you educating on esters? How does that work for your sales team?
Sure. Yeah. Both. Of course, Cargill has done a great job at marketing and education.
Yeah.
So they've paved the way for us, and I would say probably 30 to 40% of our transformers are ordered with FR3 in them.
Wow, that's a huge percentage. I wouldn't have thought of that much. That's from your customer standpoint, well done for what you guys do, because that's, I can't say the best way to do it because the mineral oil boys will boycott my house.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
They all have their place in that. That's an excellent trade-off.
Yeah.
Right, for people to have that. And a lot of times it's just where the transformer is located that makes the decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than fluids, other than paper and solids, other than the fact that we're going away from grain-oriented to amorphous, anything that you see on the horizon, you mentioned that you all are looking at solid state. Speak a little bit about that, because that's a horizon sea change if it works, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so we're looking into it, right? But
you have that smile that says, we're looking into it, but we don't think it's going to work.
Well, I think we'll see.
Okay.
I think we'll see. I think it makes sense for certain niche applications, certainly, certain data center applications, EV charging, right? So anytime there's an AC-DC conversion, it probably makes sense, maybe solar as well. But widespread, utility transmission and distribution, I kind of doubt it, at least for the time being. We'll see. Things may change. Right now, the cost is just not there. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5 times the cost, right? So I think it's unlikely that utilities will replace single-phase pole mounts and pad mounts with solid state, but I think it certainly has its place. One thing that we've been investing in for the last year is bringing rewinding in-house. So this goes to reliability and kind of opportunities on the horizon for us. Again, sort of a niche application. It really works well for applications where you've got a transformer that's maybe built in the 60s or 70s, a unit substation that's sandwiched in between a couple pieces of gear, and you need that transformer back. Well, manufacturing standards and efficiency standards have changed, so if you order that transformer today, it's not going to fit. Right. So we can take that transformer, reverse engineer the core and coils, make brand new coils, put them on the existing core, reassemble it, and get it back to them just like a brand new transformer, and extend that life again another, hopefully 20, 30, 50 years.
Yeah, that's good. So you manufacture new transformers. I'm going to say R&R, rewind, repair. You can have that capability. What percentage of your business would be one or the other? Which one is the king?
Sure. So Maddox is not an OEM. So we're a 3-phase transformer distributor, master distributor, if you will. of the new products. We also do some value add and some modifications and customization of those transformers. So we keep those in stock. The other side of the business is remanufacturing. So we take old transformers, we buy them from contractors and utilities and anywhere we can find them, even end users, and we'll bring them back in, strip them down to the studs, replace any defective gauges or components, process the fluid, test it, paint it, regasket, all of that, and get that back on the grid.
Right.
So that's the remanufacturing side of the business. And I would say the split is probably 30, maybe 40, 60 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought of that part of your business was the OEM part because it is essentially a new transformer.
Sure.
Yeah, sometimes better than the one that you took out of service. We've seen that.
Ideally.
Yeah, because you can change some things. You can't change the footprint,
Yep.
but if you can change the bushings. You can use resin impregnated bushings.
Yep.
Major upgrade, cost upgrade. You can change the paper. You can use Nomex or stuff like that. So
Exactly.
it's as close to being an OEM part of the business as you can be.
You bet. Yeah.
Anything else that's going on at Maddox that we should know about?
No, I mean, we covered a lot of the bases. We're really just focused on running a great business with good people. Again, if we take good care of our people, they take care of our customers, and we'll have a good business. So for us, it's just back to the basics. We really try not to run the company on headlines. We want to build a company that's going to be here for 100 years. We're not just waiting for the next private equity cycle to buy.
You've been hitting on those private equity boys, but you're exactly right. They're not in long term. They're out for the next out.
Well, exactly. And there's some great private equity firms. I know some of those guys, and they're great people, but it's just a trend I've seen in the industry, which is why I focus on it, is because it creates more long-term value for the customer if they know who they're going to be working with for the next decade or 2 decades, as opposed to the new management team that's in place. Yeah. So I think it has a real-world impact on how you do business.
Well, find that guy upstairs or gal who said, if we don't have it or we can't get it, we're going to find it for you. And give them a raise and a promotion.
I'll do it. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
God bless.